Pushing off my sneakers to the ground. I do not jump, I move the earth down. Bear witness to the genius of my sound. Born at the bottom, but now I'm top down. Look, I'ma call it swagger. I slip through time zones like a cloak and dagger. Mad rubies on my chain. You can see your name bubbling, blood vein. Your girl's in my A because she's sipping on my champagne. That's right, 6 figures in my back pocket. And that's right, 1 million in my safe deposit. That's right, I'm trill all day. On my way to.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Best Damn Clemson Show, formerly known as with Cole and Evan. But we got Cannon here. He's going to be with us for now on. I appreciate everything Evan did for the show when he was with us. But I'll let Cannon introduce himself.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? My name is Cannon. I'm super excited to be here. Something I always wanted to do. I'm passionate about the Tigers and everything like that, and I'm excited to talk about them. Big fan of Cole and Evan's show before I joined it and everything like that, and I'm excited to contribute what I can contribute.
Heck yeah. So we're excited to have Cannon on, and Cannon's roommate as well, Connor. So 2 great additions to the All Clemson Tigers team. So again, welcome back to the Best Damn Clemson Show. You can find us at allclemsontigers.com for all things Clemson Tigers. So Cannon, we're going to jump right into this Virginia Tech recap. Terrible first half, by the way. It was pretty droughty. I was there in the stands, and I was like, we're gonna lose. The last win of the season is gonna be Citadel. That was just the mindset of the time. And of course, the blocked field goal for a touchdown didn't help, and this and that. I feel like the second drive of the game was killed by penalties as well. But we snuck out of there with a win. But just give me your kind of thoughts on that game and what you liked. Better than the Louisville game, and what we did better, and what can we work on and get better at?
Yeah, obviously, what I like was the outcome of the game, and you're exactly right. Going into halftime, it looked bleak for us, Inter Sandman and everything like that, and then 7-0 lead going into half. I imagine it didn't feel good for the players, fans, anyone there that was wearing orange or purple. Mainly in the first half, like you were saying. I mean, we were down there, we were driving, we put together really good drives, but I mean, we were just stopped by ourselves. If it was a game of chess, then we were just taking our own pieces off the board. Cade played very well. I mean, yep. I think the box sheet, don't really speak for itself. 16 for 34, under 50%.
There's a lot of drops.
6 of them, I mean? And that's just the ones that are counted. We had guys like Antonio Williams, who were supposed to be our go-to guys, our glue guys, drop one on the field that, knowing him could go for 30-plus yards, and it's just something that we got to maybe tighten up if, we get into this postseason play and, we want to compete with these good teams and everything. Yeah.
And I can agree with you. Of course, people's going to look at the score or watch that game in the first half and say, oh, Cade Clement. But, like, Cade did all he could in the first half. I feel like drives were killed by penalties. We were driving, let's say Antonio Williams had I think it was a holding penalty or something that kept us from driving, and we ended up going 3 and out. But it was good to go on the road, Lane Stadium, and get a dub. Dabo has yet to lose in Lane Stadium. I thought there was a possibility going into Saturday that would happen, but it was a big bounce back from the week before. And looking at Louisville, it sucks because if we would have beat Louisville with Miami losing to Georgia Tech, we would have clinched the ACC title game by winning at Virginia Tech. But, overall, Antonio, Cade Clement, like you said, 16 for 34, 211 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I don't mind that interception, really.
No, and that was what I was going to say, really, is the main thing that I think, especially last year, we're a team that played right at 500 in the conference play. One thing that we've really turned around is turnovers.
Right.
We're 3rd in the country in turnover margin, you know what I mean? And that really speaks level because we're really, letting these drives develop, and we're not giving the ball right back to the defense and having our defense out there for 45 minutes a game and everything like that. And that's one thing that Cade has worked on, and I think really shown improvements. Sometimes he doesn't take the shot that we wanted to and throw the ball out of bounds, but sometimes, I'd rather do that than enforce.
Yeah, and I think as a total we have 5 turnovers, and I think he has 4 interceptions. We've yet to offensively fumble a ball and turn it over. It's all been interceptions, and he's got 4 interceptions. There's guys. I mean, Carson Beck has 3 interception games every week, it seems like.
Yeah, but
I don't care about the interception because, like I said, it was a 3rd down, 3rd and long. If it's an incomplete pass, we got to punt it and hopefully pin them up. They intercepted on 2-yard line. We'll take it as a punt. But going back to the Virginia Tech game, we're going to listen to what Cade Clement had to say a little bit about that.
Thank you. How are you feeling? You were running a lot. They did what they could, but 4 sacks. You were doing a lot today, running around. How are you feeling?
I feel good, man. Just so happy for this win. So happy. This isn't an easy place to come play. And Just so happy for this win. Just a gutty win, very heartfelt. But I'm mentally and physically exhausted. And that's how I want to finish every Saturday. Put my body on the line and give it all I have, and then get better by next Saturday and go play again. So,
what adjustments did you make at halftime to score all those points in the second half?
Yeah, I definitely just wanted to really attack them a little bit more downfield. They were really starting to creep up a lot in the corners and the nickels and the safeties. So wanted to get a little bit more, I think, a little bit more shots downfield. You saw that early with the one to Antonio and one to TJ, and two to TJ and one to Antonio early. So that was big, and definitely, they were just kind of jumping everything, so wanted to attack them.
How close were you to going down on that touchdown to TJ? You spin around, come back. Looks like you almost had to put your hand on the ground. Did you feel like you were going down?
Yeah, I was close. I don't think I would have made that play a year ago. I think that, just shout out Ben Batson, and just, the way I've been able to just kind of get stronger and faster, and stabilization. That was something I worked on a lot this offseason. So that was definitely a play I don't think I would have been able to make a year ago. And shout out TJ and getting open. So it's big time. And then Ryan Lintingham, I'll go watch it. He's 6 yards downfield, and he realizes that he sees me scrambling, and he runs back so that he's not lining downfield. So that's an incredible play by him, and that's really just a smart play by him. It's pretty fun.
What do you think it says about this team that you guys had those offensive struggles at the beginning, but then the floodgates open in the first 15 minutes of the second half?
Yeah, just had to go do what we do, and just go execute at a high rate, kind of shut ourselves in the foot a little bit in the first half, and put great drives together. Trying to go finish on, get the ball going downfield a little bit more, and we responded. We felt great. We felt great in this locker room at halftime. We knew we were marching on them, and just had to go have a good second half, and we did.
So we heard from quarterback K. Clemson there talk about, the first half droughts, and then you heard him say how the floodgates opened in the second half. We're going to jump into that first score of the game. Nothing, we're putting a drive together, still trying to just get that life, that kind of that momentum to give that offensive spark, and throw it deep to Cole Turner in a one-on-one matchup, and he came down with the ball. Got a taunting penalty. I wasn't even mad at it because I'm like, he comes down with that. He ought to be able to talk a little bit of smack. But
I agree with that one.
Obviously, Davo got on him a little bit, but I think that throw itself, he put it. I feel like he underthrew him just a little bit,
right.
But Cole coming down with that ball is still insane.
Right.
So and then the play that's not talked about enough, I feel like, is the TJ Moore catch.
No, I agree. And it's one that when it originally came out of his hands, I was like, ooh, maybe underthrew him a little bit. But,
right.
it was a great throw all in all. And, even evading the sack and, playing through and everything like that. That was, a Heisman moment maybe if
right.
we didn't lose the Louisville game and everything like that. And, it just lit a spark in the offense that we definitely needed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Definitely came out stronger after it.
And I said the TJ Moore catch, really the K. Klubnik throw and
right.
the play. It was going to be. It was like the play was going to be like a drop back and like a quarterback draw type
right.
deal. And the edge rusher got off the ball quick, and Cade saw it. I thought it was going to get sacked. And like you said, he doesn't make that play last year because after he missed a sack, he scrambled around. I thought he was going to trip and fall.
Yep.
He called himself up, threw it downfield. TJ called it. We scored a touchdown. I was like, that's an insane play. People are going to probably come at me when I say this, but. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Deshaun Watson type play.
No, yeah, it definitely does.
Scrambling around like that.
I definitely remember a Texans playoff game where I think he did the exact same thing. But I don't know. I think Cade Klubnik is really over anything just showing a sense of maturity,
right?
Understanding of the game. You know what I mean? He's taken a leap from his second to third year that we all needed him to take. You know what I mean? And I think that he's playing at the level that'll put us in a game if he just plays at this level.
All right. Zach says, "What's up, losers? What's up, Zach?
What's going on, Zach?"
Nah, but I agree totally. It's just like I get it. We lost versus Louisville. It really, killed the momentum of the season and. But like I said, we're a 2-loss team. We're 7-2. There's still a lot to play for, and there's still hope. Zach might not agree with me on some things that I say, but we need Miami to lose either to Syracuse or Wake Forest. Their best chance is Syracuse, but we need to win this weekend as well. And we're going to jump into that Pitt game in just a second. But obviously, we snuck out of there with a 24-14? Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about this kicking game.
Yeah.
It seems since, Florida State, we still made like 5 or 6 field goals that game. We had 3 blocked. We had 2 blocked versus Louisville, and then 1 blocked for a touchdown.
And that would add up to 133rd out of 133 teams in field goals blocked margin. We've had 6 so far this season. Mike Reed, phenomenal cornerbacks coach, phenomenal. But you had to wonder if we're practicing field goal formations at this point. It seems like every week that one of them's getting blocked, and I don't know if it's the defenses that are lining up and just seeing something,
It's always that left side. It's like they jump that left side every time, and literally, I can tell you this right now. When I was in the stands and we lined up for the field goal, I was like, I know this is getting blocked.
Right.
Like I knew it. Didn't think it was getting returned for a touchdown,
right.
but I knew that left side was getting blown up, and you know what happened? It was blown up for a touchdown. They went up 7-0. I thought Dabo was not going to kick another field goal the rest of the game or the year. I was like, there's no way he sends the field goal team out. And then one of the last drives of the game, we send out the field goal team and we put it through the upright. So maybe that will kill that whatever bug is going on. And whatever we did during the bye week, can we please go undo it? Because it's like, you know, that was the best first half of the season I've been through in like 4 years.
It's been every bye week in the past 4 years.
4 years,
like
dude.
I don't know what it is, if we lose the intensity or the momentum, or we come out flat. And it's, you know, Miami's taking advantage of it, Notre Dame took advantage of it, and now Louisville's taking advantage of it. And it's like, it's hard to light a fire twice in a season. And now, you know what I mean? Yeah. The intensity seems there for our guys, but it's out of our hands in terms of postseason.
Yeah, and NCAA or anybody that can hear me, you know, if there's a way to opt out of a bye week and we can just play like a D2 team or something just to keep our momentum going, can we please do that?
This was our second bye week, was it not? Did we have one in
we had one early in the season, but it's like every late bye week because I think that bye was the second game of the game of the year, something like that.
Really just letting our guys ice up after getting played by Georgia, right?
Literally, it just kind of seems like that, but hopefully that gets what kind of bug on the field goal team out of there.
Yeah.
But
I think it's unfortunate because, you know, our kickers, he hasn't missed on the year.
And I can't even blame it on him. A lot of people are saying he's taking the wrong angle. But even if he's taking the wrong angle, the left side is just getting blown up every time. Field goal
has been blocked, he has not missed on the season. You know what I mean? So I just think it's unfortunate. And, you know, if it's me, I'm going to adjust to my kicker. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a football guy, you know, schemist or anything. But, you know, if he's making them to the uprights, I'm going to do whatever he needs.
The Louisville game, I think Blake Miller got pancaked.
Yeah.
And he was like so mad, and then came out again and happened again. I was like, good gosh.
Yeah.
But, you know, we made the last field goal of the game. Maybe that'll settle it out. But we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Ever find yourself needing custom gear that really stands out? At Carolina Printing Sports and Trophy in Hartsville, SC, we personalize everything from t-shirts to trophies, making sure your brand or team logo pops. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, or dazzling plaques, we've got you covered. Swing by today and let's create something unique just for you.
Welcome back, guys. We just talked, you know, a little bit about finished talking about the Virginia Tech game and, you know, that atrocious kicking game we've seen. But like me and Cannon said, maybe that last made field goal will kind of knock that out of their system and make them well again.
Yeah.
But obviously, our number 20 Tigers traveled to Pittsburgh to take on the 7-2 Pitt Panthers. Clemson coming in this game 7-2 as well. And, you know, K Club 195 for 309, 2,275 yards, 24 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Holstein, I think that's their back, or I don't know.
No, he's been the guy. I mean,
is he the guy starting Saturday?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Holstein's 177 for 286, 2,174 yards, 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So they're kind of right there in the mix of, you know, Cade's got literally almost 7 more touchdowns or 7. And Holstein's got 2 more interceptions. But coming to this game, it looks like a pretty decent matchup.
It really is. I mean, it's really just been this last 2 weeks for Pittsburgh. The loss against Virginia was definitely not expected. But, I mean, you're talking about going to SMU and getting beat by 17 points, which isn't necessarily unprecedented considering where SMU's at this season. But they were 7-0 up to that point.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's maybe one step up. That's an 8-1 top 15 Pittsburgh team. And I think that's something that we definitely cannot go into Pittsburgh flat-footed, because we all know what happened last time we went into Pittsburgh light-footed.
Talking about that last time we went, I remember we could went up 14-0, but Will Shipley dropped a wide open touchdown. That's just kind of giving me a little bit of nightmares. But you're exactly right. This Pitt team is a lot better than those 2 losses the last 2 weeks. And I mean, Virginia beat them last week, obviously, and then SMU blew them out.
Right.
So, you know, a couple weeks ago, people were talking about this potentially being a game day.
Exactly.
In Pitt. I was like, really? And I could see it, but then now you lost back-to-back games, and now this is the battle of who's going to win the game, the 7 or 2 teams. So, but I mean, 2 great teams. Obviously, we've seen what our Clemson Tigers have done in the first half of the year, rather than week 1 and the Louisville game. I'm not going to let those 2 games kind of define our season, which a lot of people will say it will define our season, and it might statistically and as a whole, but I still think there's a lot on the table for this Clemson Tigers team.
Right. And, we went 4-4 in conference play last year. So 7-1 in the conference is
4-4 in conference
step up.
play, and we were 4-4 at one time.
Yeah.
That's just like, what?
I mean, it's boggling to think about. So I think that we've taken definitely the necessary steps to kind of improve, grow up as a whole entire team. But it's definitely a win that we need to kind of solidify our season going into the last 2 weeks.
Yep, I agree. And, need a lot of miracles around the league, I will say, and I'll talk about these 2 possibilities of us reaching that ACC title game. One, obviously we have to win this weekend in both scenarios, but need Virginia to win out. So that means they would have to beat SMU and finish above Louisville in the standings. Because then the record or something that in that way we would
the common loss opponent.
Right. Common loss opponent. Yeah. Virginia would finish higher than Louisville, so that would send us because we have the head up with Louisville. I mean, no, we don't have the head up with Louisville. We have the head up with Virginia. Right. I wish I could say we had the head up with Louisville, but we don't. And then the other is obviously us winning this weekend versus Pitt, like I said, and then Miami either losing to Syracuse or Wake Forest. That best possibility is Syracuse.
Right.
Unless Wake Forest just comes out and has the game of their lives.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, Miami could have given up on the season right now. They have no reason to. They're right back in front of control for that ACC conference as long as they understand how the standings work and everything like that. They're not, too worried about us holding the 2 spot in it right now. I think that, there's a little bit of light left in the room, but it's nothing to hold your hat on. And I think we really just need to worry about ourselves, worry about Pittsburgh, worry about finishing strong. I mean, that Syracuse Miami meant one that we need to be paying attention to because we got the team down south coming that week.
Yeah.
So,
and that team down south's playing some good football right now, and I hate to have to say that, but that could be a potential. I mean, if they went out until then, they'll be 8-3 coming in here. If we went out, we'll be 9-2.
9-2. I mean, the really only. I mean, if you're talking game day, which
potential palmetable game day.
I mean, the only one that I could see them going to.
Yeah, they've already been to College Station.
Right. I think they love the traditions and everything. They haven't been there in 12 years, so I don't know if they'd come here.
But when have they been to Clemson, South Carolina?
Well, when have they given us the national recognition you think this rivalry deserves?
Yeah, never.
You know what I mean?
Hopefully. And of course, I wish South Carolina would lose every game. But if this could be a rivalry that people are looking forward to, and game days like we're going, circle your calendars, we're going to Columbia, we're going to Clemson, I'm all for it.
Right?
They could be the heck with it. Let them go 11-0 until they come to us.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine with me too.
If we have to end their season, that's fine too. I mean, and if game day doesn't come here, it's going to be an electric
now
game
in this 12-man playoff, they could be 11-0. We beat them, they're still in.
Yeah. Hey, I'll see them again. If we got to beat them 2 times, we got to beat them 2 times.
Oh, that is true. Could happen that way in future. And some people still have South Carolina on a maybe playoff this year, and I don't think it's going to happen because obviously they have to win out. But there's a lot. I think they take some 3 lost teams in front of them rather than them. But we're going to talk a little bit about this Pitt game. Obviously, 12 o'clock game going to Pitt. Had a lot more I can't get the word out. Before they lost 2 games in a row, this was a highly talked game coming in, and it still is. Yeah. And like we just said, you can't go into Pitt thinking you have a guaranteed win, especially the way we've scaredly played the last 2 weeks.
That's exactly right.
But I think we balled out that second half versus Virginia Tech, and I'll tell you one reason I wasn't nervous in that game versus Virginia Tech is because their offense. Right. It was terrible.
Yeah.
They had plenty of times to just take complete control of that game and go away with it, and they didn't. And it started with Kyron Drones because our former guy, Evan, he was high on Virginia Tech. He was saying Virginia Tech is going to play in the ACC championship. You can mark it on your calendars. Kyron Drones is going to win ACC Player of the Year, this and that. And now they're sitting where they are.
Yep.
But coming into Pitt, it's going to be a tough game. They might have a very high crowd, tough crowd in that game. Pitt's not an easy place to play either. It's going to be loud. It was loud 2 years ago. It was a 3:30 game. It's a 12 o'clock game, but you're in a city. Those people don't sleep.
Nope.
They're going to be there. And of course, versus Clemson, who doesn't want to beat Clemson?
That's exactly right. One thing I'll mention about that Kyron Jones situation, it's a little unfortunate because I feel like we didn't maybe get him at his best. He suffered an injury a little bit in the week before. He was actually seen in a boot, I think, in that game. But yeah, you're right. They had the chance to just kind of take control offensively after, our mental lapses on those first couple of drives, and they just did it. And I want to credit that to our defense and everything, playing how they did. Our cornerbacks, amazing game. Ashton Hampton.
Yeah.
Ridiculous interception.
Crazy.
Come on. And then that 3 linebacker set that we came with Wade Wood as, Sammy Brown, and then Barrett Carter, just, elite. And I think that's one thing that we're really going to have to sustain this week against Pittsburgh, because you're talking about a team that really likes to air the ball out. They throw 58% of the plays. We just need to be able to make tackles and save space comparatively to running the ball.
Yep. But, where was that Ashton Hampton? Was it top in Sports Center?
Dude, I think it was 3. I think it came in at 3, which is just like
he caught it with his wrist.
I'd like to see the other 2 plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wish they would have shown the play before. You know what I mean? Him getting it called over him, because I think that adds a little bit.
So
to
when
it.
he got burnt that first time,
right?
I remember when he was running back, and Dabo just talked to him real quick, tapped him on the butt, tapped him on the helmet, and then I didn't see it when it happened, but when I went back and watched the highlights, Dabo, he sees they're throwing it again to his side. He runs down there, and he's just standing on the sideline, just looking. And as soon as he comes with the pick, Dabo probably celebrated harder than he did.
Yeah.
I love a good Dabo celebration.
No, I do too. I just think that grit, that, never give up. You know what I mean? Kind of that golf.
Don't let that one play
exactly.
define. In the next play, I was like, go back to him. And they did, and look what happened.
Yeah.
But this Pitt offense, kind of unpredictable,
right?
As you could say. 1 minute they're coming out here fiery, and then the next time they lose back-to-back games. Honestly, talk a little about Holstein. I don't have any of his stats put up other than what ESPN's showing me, but do you have anything on him?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us that we just kind of got to continue on is these turnovers.
Right.
Holstein, his stats don't really show he's only thrown 6 interceptions. But they have him rated as 20 turnover rated plays, 20 turnover rated throws this year. And I think that's something that our athletic linebackers, the cornerbacks, safeties, they just got to take control of. You know what I mean? I think that offensively on the side of the ball, it kind of works the same way. I think we need to try to play their game a little bit.
Right.
I think they've struggled a little bit to tackle with their cornerbacks. I think their defensive line, and our doozy defensive line is always going to come out intense, ready to go out, ready to knock your teeth and everything like that. So if Moffa gets 100 again this week, it'll be a rough 100. It'll be a gritty 100 for sure. But I think that Cade needs to come out ready to just throw on the ball to Antonio Williams, Cole Turner, maybe just guys that it can get open in the middle of the field. Maybe let TJ Moore get a little loose, show what Westco can do when he gets the ball in his hands in open field, just really open the game up for ourselves.
Yeah, and I think, I was upset with TJ Moore and Brian Westco this past week. I will say, there's a lot of drops, but I'm glad that they see, instead of just saying, oh, I dropped it, they recognize what they did wrong.
Yeah.
Like TJ posted on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that. He was like 2 for 6, shaking my head. I'll get him next week. And I'm fully for it. Those two, they're going to be studs.
Dude.
And like Dabo said after the App State game, he was on ACC Network. He was like, we don't get these guys for 6 months. We get them for 3 years, guaranteed 3 years, unless they hit the portal. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
they love Clemson.
Yeah.
But, he's talking, and that was kind of when his point of the transfer portal was, kind of coming in, and people were like, okay, maybe Dabo just got it figured out. Maybe all this criticism to him about not using the portal is kind of biting us in the tail. Sorry. And, but I highly think they come out of this game fighting.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a game that we can take control of if we come out, be aggressive, be elusive, show that we came to play. I think it's something that we've lacked doing in the last couple of weeks. It's something we lacked after the bye and everything. It's intensity. It's something that we're not really used to as Clemson, besides the past 3 or 4 years. And I look forward to hopefully getting out to a hot start and hot finish against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and, people are always there to criticize K, but I think this team, the offense is going to come out versus Pitt. O-line's going to stand up, hold their ground. The wide receivers are excited to get back out there and catch the ball. That 3 linebacker set is going to be dirty. But we'll be right back from a word from our sponsors.
Ever wondered how to stay updated on all things Clemson Tigers without the hassle? I discovered the All Clemson Tigers website, and it's a game changer for any sports fan. From football to Olympic sports, they cover everything Tigers. I've been following their updates, and the insights are outstanding. Check it out today and become the most informed fan at the game.
back to the show. Sorry, guys. I just started randomly coughing a bunch. And I don't know what was going on with that, but got some water. Hopefully we got that figured out. We're going to get into some college football pick'em. It's one of my favorite parts of the shows. I like to pick other games. Actually, before we do that, I want to talk about this Miami and Georgia Tech game.
I would love to talk about this Miami.
I'll let you take it away.
All right. Well, one thing that I love about Georgia Tech coming into the season, this is a Brent Key coach team. You know what I mean? So they're going to be disciplined. They're going to be ready to come out and knock your teeth out. And it's something similar that they came out and beat this Florida State team in week 1 to Ireland. They really know how to control the time of possession. I mean, they had one drive that lasted almost 10 minutes long. You know what I mean? That is how you beat a good team. You take the ball out of their hands. You don't let Cam Ward be Cam Ward. And, Haynes King, that triple option that they run, you know what I mean? Everything about that offense, when they play big games, they come, you know what I mean? They come prepared. And, it stinks that the ACC teams don't really get as much love nationally. You know what I mean? It's like upsets go and everything. It sucks that we got to beat up on each other for people to finally look. And then even then they're looking at the bad side of things. But I think this Georgia Tech team, they're bowl eligible already. They got 3 weeks left to play. You know who's not playing their best football right now? A team in Athens. You know
Georgia?
What I mean?
I don't think that's a guaranteed loss for them.
I think it's definitely interesting comparatively speaking to other years.
Georgia Tech can beat anybody.
And I don't know where it's played at this year. It's in Athens. And so,
but Carson Beck's not freaking surprising. Like,
he's not. You know what I mean? So, it's a game that you got to look out for. It's a team that you got to look out for.
This is a potential 9-win Georgia Tech team.
You're not. You know what I mean? And that's not even insane to say after they just went to Miami and came out with the win.
No, it was at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but still.
Yeah.
And they lost Haynes King or Jamal Haynes after the first drive.
Right. So
he had an 80-yard rush and he scored, and then that was it. And then they did that 2 QB set.
Yep.
They ran the ball, like you said. They took 10 minutes off the clock in one drive. Chew clock. If you want to beat a good team, you chew the clock.
You take the ball out of his hands.
Like in college football 25, I'm the underdog in most games. And if I got a chance and I got the ball and I'm up, I'm chewing the clock to beat you. And that's what I'm doing. But huge win for the Yellow Jackets. I've been saying this since last year. Haynes King, only bad game last year, I felt like was versus us, and he had a 7 QBR that game, so obviously it wasn't good. But they were like the top 5 scoring offense of the country, I think, and I think they lost like 5 or 6 games. But
they were definitely, I think, a top 3 run.
It might have been running
offense. I think they were running for over 220 yards a game last year. Which is just as incredible when you think about it.
Bro, huge win for them though. Like, I was just like, are they going to pull it out? And, I was at the Virginia Tech game, like I said, and we did like the Clemson alumni tailgate, and, they had like an auditorium with the games on, and places just getting loud because, like, we need Georgia Tech to pull this out. And now, if Georgia Tech doesn't win this game, there's no shot for Clemson to even sniff the AC title game. And, we still have to win this weekend. But the Yellow Jackets are making noise. We thought that, when they snuck out in that week 1 win versus Florida State, we thought that win was huge.
Right.
Like the new Florida State Sentinels with DJ Uyunglele, these guys are good. Now they got 1 win versus Cal. They probably should have lost that game.
Definitely should have lost that game. What was the score? That 14-12, 12-9, something like that?
I think something like that. And it was weird. But we're going to get to this college football pick 'em. We're going to start off. We're going to stay local, or not local, we're our local team. Clemson going to Pitt. Clemson is a 10-point favorite in this game. We've already talked a good bit about this game, but I think, like we talked about, that 3 linebacker set, I feel like that gave us our defense a spark, especially having DeMonte Capehart out, Peter Wood, Shelton Lewis, those guys.
Right.
Two huge defensive linemen, sophomore and a 5th year, who are those key parts and out. And you're like, daggone it, we don't have them. So what are we going to do? Of course, Dabo figured it out. Wes Goodwin got Sammy Brown in there, and Sammy was making noise early.
Yeah, he was.
He even brought back the dab.
Dude, Double Dab, Fortnite on it. He must have heard that it was coming back or something like that.
He said they found out they were talking at pregame dinner that Friday, and he was like, can we just bring back the dab or something? And he did it. And he had every right to. He was balling.
Yeah, I think that defensive line, for how young and inexperienced some of the guys that they had to go thrown out there, they did a great job containing what could have been a very explosive offense. I think this week that they can continue to do a great job. But, if they want to be the difference makers like we've seen defensive linemen in the past, they really just have to be disruptive. You know what I mean? Like, containing's great and everything like that, but, go and wreck plays. You know what I mean? Don't even let them get set up. Don't let our cornerbacks have to go get a jump ball, 50-50 ball. Go and let people know your name.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think this offense comes out, fiery. K Klubman's going to be fired up as he is weekly. And, I've been a huge Cade guy.
Yeah.
I've never criticized Cade. I can actually say that. I also thought DJ was, not the problem.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. I was probably DJU's biggest supporter.
I was his biggest supporter throwing it.
So I kind of have my reservations a little bit about Cade. You know what I mean? Like still, like I kind of think I see Cade for what he is, and I think that's a really good quarterback if we, you know what I mean, put the
Passionate
right players
quarterback.
around him. You know what I mean?
He's
And
very selfless too.
yeah, in the college game, that's what you want. You know what I mean? You want a guy that just all he cares about is the team win. You know what I mean? And it doesn't really matter how.
Speaking of people being selfless, Boston College quarterback, the Castellanos guy,
I saw that.
entered the portal today because he got benched last week.
Yep.
Not a team guy. And I was like, this guy's pretty, like, early in the season, I thought he was pretty good.
Dude, I mean, they tricked me. You know what I mean? They got 4 wins quick. You know
4
what I
wins
mean?
quick, and then it just went downhill.
Yeah, I mean, you think it's just Bill O'Brien or –
Almost had a chance to, which we thought was a very, very good Missouri team at the time.
Right.
Had a chance to beat them on the road.
Exactly.
Didn't come out with that win, but I just think, to get benched and just totally quit on your team, I think that's very selfish, and
it comes after an impressive win.
people in the portal are going to see that too, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, hopefully, in his opinion, you put up enough film to get him to where he needs to go. But it's like, that win versus Syracuse they just had, that was not a bad win under anything. That was a resilient win from the Boston College team.
Speaking of Syracuse, when Miami goes to Syracuse, if we really wanted to pull the win out, it depends on which Kyle McCord shows up.
Yeah, he ain't gonna lie on
1 minute he's throwing for 5 touchdowns, and another second he's throwing for 5 touchdowns to the other team.
Right.
But yeah, we're gonna jump. Obviously, I picked Clemson to win this game. For a score prediction, I'm gonna say like it's kind of hard because the last 2 weeks, outside of the second half versus Virginia Tech was just dominant.
Right.
And if we can carry that into this first half, carry it on to that for that whole game, I'll go 38-10, 38-17 Tigers.
Right, I like it too. I think the line right now set at about 10 points, which I think so. I don't think that's
pretty
a bad
good.
line. Yeah, no. I think it's going to be about what it is. I'm not gonna lie, I expect us to come out a little slow. You know what I mean? It's 12 o'clock. A travel day and everything like that. If I had to go score prediction, I am going to go with the Tigers as well. I am going to go 38-20 Tigers.
38-20?
Yep.
I like it. Going to go down to Athens, Georgia. Tennessee traveling to Georgia. Georgia's coming off of their second loss of the season at Ole Miss. A lot thought Georgia was going to go in there and dominate that game because, Ole Miss has had some shaky spots this year, but they're looking like a playoff team now. And I've always been a huge Jackson Dart guy. I like Jackson Dart a lot. I think he's a baller.
Yeah.
He's got that swag to him. Tennessee's got 1 loss in the year at Arkansas. Georgia's obviously a 2-loss team. I wish they were a 3-loss team, but we couldn't make that happen week 1 in Atlanta. I think this is a shaky game. And I think this is a trap game for Georgia as well and Tennessee because Georgia loses this game, they're done. Right now, 2-loss team Georgia is obviously making the playoffs.
Yeah, I think with the loss, it'll be definitely difficult for Georgia. I think at that point it'll be out of their hands. I think the committee honestly have some hard questions to answer.
Well, if they can be a 3-loss team and get talked about the playoffs, we should be able to it too.
Yeah, I agree. Their schedule is. I mean, they have played everyone that you can play. No, but I agree. It's very hard to see and fathom a 3-loss Georgia team. 3 regular season, 3 losses, dang near almost before November starts. You know what I mean? It's the playoffs and everything like that. And I think this Tennessee team definitely has a good chance to. It's kind of reminiscent on that Tennessee team that beat Alabama with Hendon Hooker and everything like that. Yep. Going in there, we know how they obviously shaped up going into Georgia a couple weeks later, not the best and everything like that. And I think it's a similar spot where they have to expect good quarterback play if they want a good result. And I think it's unfortunate that Nico is unfortunately in concussion protocol right now because
he's not even guaranteed to play.
He's not. So the status on him, I think the coach said they do expect him to play. I think you can expect him to be out there starting and everything like that. But if he's taking a lot of hits and they're down 17-0 second quarter start, you see that back up in there really, really quick.
I wish I could say, if Nico plays, I wish I could say Tennessee's going to go into Athens and win this game, but Georgia's not losing 2 in a row.
No, I disagree with that. I think they're too well coached of a team to go out there. You know what I mean? Like, as bad as their struggles may seem, you know what I mean? It all goes down to Carson Beck. You know what I mean? His decision-making hadn't been there. His accuracy hadn't been there. The offensive line's been letting balls get tipped. You know what I mean? The scheme seems to be there. The Georgia defense is there. The Georgia intensity is there. I mean, if you would have said that, how many points did Ole Miss score last week?
Ole Miss?
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, 28-10 final.
If you would have said that Ole Miss scored 28 points, I mean, you would think that Georgia had a very good chance of winning that game, in my opinion.
Right,
you know
and they pulled that was a butt cutting
exactly.
still. Only scoring 28. I think I'm gonna take Georgia in this game still. It's gonna hurt Tennessee if Nico doesn't play, but outside of Georgia's struggles, I just don't see them losing 2 in a row or at home. So I'm gonna take Georgia in this game. I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think it's gonna be a fourth quarter battle. But in the end, I think the Bulldogs come out with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same way as you. I'm gonna think Georgia. I think the fact that it's nighttime in Athens, I do not think that's a good mixture for Tennessee. Young Nico, who has showed struggles in these kind of environments before. I hope to see a good game. Score prediction, I'm gonna go with 34-20. I think that it's going to be close for a little bit. I think Tennessee's going to have some drives in the third or fourth quarter where we're going to see how legitimate they really are, and I'm excited for it.
I like it. We're going to go now to Columbia, South Carolina. I hate it, man. It sucks to have to say something like this, but
you got to talk about
South Carolina's playing good football.
They're playing out of their mind.
They're 6-3. They're still a 3-loss team, but
right.
But
there's 3 losses. I mean.
Well, yeah, LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama played 2
great games, honestly.
Yeah.
LSU and Alabama were toss-ups, you know what I mean? I'm not going to let them tell you that the refs gave the LSU a game away.
No, I mean, you can't blow a 17-0 lead
exactly.
at home.
I mean, it's just like that all goes down to, like, how well you're coached, how much discipline you have and everything like that. But they went to Tuscaloosa and gave them a run for their money.
Exactly.
I mean, they had a 2-point conversion try that Lenora Sellers just overthrew, you know what I mean? Lenora Sellers has really, been a difference maker on offense, from an offensive line that was already a little shaky last year and forced a guy like Rather to maybe make some throws that he couldn't.
Right.
Sellers has kind of been doing it a completely different way. You know
100%.
what I mean? He'll beat you on your feet. And what makes him even scarier is honestly the fact that they can hand the ball off to Arkansas transfer running back Rocket Sanders.
He's that guy. He's just that guy.
He really is. It's insane.
Yeah. Missouri's coming in this game 7-2, ranked 23rd in the nation. South Carolina 6-3, coming in at number 21. Ole Miss, got blown out 34-0 to Alabama, and then they lost to Texas A&M in a blowout 41-10. So, the good games they play, they've gotten blown out. So, I think it's going to be a good game. I do.
Right.
I don't think this is going to be a blowout any means on South Carolina's end or Missouri's. I think it all depends because if, Brady Cook was he hurt?
He's been a little hurt. I think if anything, it's been more of his pride, ego, draft stock.
Yeah, I could see that. But if he comes out here, if he plays pretty good, if their offense can move the ball against this insane South Carolina defense,
right,
they could give them a chance. But if they go out here and they can't move the ball and they can't score, and South Carolina's defense stays on top and forces them to go 3 and out, Lenore Sellers has everything in front of him to drive the ball. They're at home. It's a 4:15 kickoff. It's gonna be nighttime when they play in the second quarter. South Carolina wins this game.
Yeah,
South Carolina wins this game.
I frankly don't think it's very close. I think they win the game about 34-10.
Really?
Yeah, I just think that, like you said, it's going to be nighttime when it rolls around. This is a Missouri offense that really hasn't shown us a single thing to be excited about over this entire year. And not only are they not exciting, they really haven't played anyone. You know what I mean? So it's not like they have the excuse of saying that, they've been contained by these great defense. They have the weakest SEC schedule of any SEC team.
Right.
They just haven't looked impressive, which is ridiculous considering they had a guy in Luther Burden who I thought was,
the best wide receiver in the country.
You know what I mean?
And now it's just like he's a waste for them. But, I'm going to pick South Carolina. I think they're going to win. And like you said, they could go out here and win big at home.
Right.
Their fans are confident. The team's confident. They're looking to come in here Thanksgiving weekend and beat us. And I hope they went out into that game.
Yeah.
Because potentially, like we said, it could be a college game day matchup in Death Valley for the Palmetto Bowl. Haven't seen that ever.
Nope.
So, yeah, give me South Carolina. I don't even know a score prediction. I'll go with yours. What did you say, 38-10?
Yeah, I said 34-10. I was thinking 38-10, honestly. I think 30+10. I don't think Missouri scores a lot, if you want me to be honest. That defensive line, that true freshman, Kennard. South Carolina has playmakers where no matter where you look on the defensive side of the ball. I just think it all goes down to this Missouri offense has not been exciting all year. This South Carolina defense has been elite all year. That's not a good combination on the road for the Missouri Tigers.
Yeah, and now that you talk about it, I just don't think
I don't think it'll
I don't
be
think they have a chance
Colt.
now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Now that I think about it,
didn't
like
mean to turn you into a
who have they
Gamecock for the
played,
weekend,
and
but
the
I
games
mean,
they have played, it's just like
it's
blowouts.
ugly, dude. I mean, even looking at, like you said earlier, that Boston College game, you know what I mean? Looking at that Boston College team now, where they are, how far they've come to a quarterback discrepancy that's led to him transferring out of the program. I mean, you don't think that's –
Speaking of Boston College, I thought they would have a chance to go to SMU this weekend and win and maybe toss some things up. And now,
yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, I think the rest of this season, you know what I mean, at least the regular season wise, we're gonna learn how disciplined this SMU team is. You know, the one loss at the beginning of the season, literally first game, one possession loss to BYU, who's number 6 or 9 in the country right now,
undefeated too.
So they've shown resilience throughout the entire season, not really looking back or anything like that. They know that their future's in their own hands as long as they win out. You know what I mean? They went out. They're in the playoffs, and they know that. And so we're gonna see how good this Mustang team is.
And I think they're really good. Now they could have lost a couple games. Duke should have beat them. Duke missed that game-winning field goal.
Right.
I thought Pitt had a chance. Pitt got blown out.
Well, did that game-winning field goal get blocked? Did SMU block that game-winning field goal?
Yeah, he blocked it. They blocked it.
So I mean, that's
again, Duke or SMU scored first in overtime. Kicked the field goal, made it. Duke scores the first play. Don't send their field goal out. That's it. F that. We're going for 2.
Right.
And got stuff. So, you
you can't really be mad, in my opinion, right there. The Duke head coach got to get a signature win in his first win, taking over after Elko.
Right. Manny Diaz is their coach, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Oh, it is Manny Diaz, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Manny Diaz, former Miami guy. But kind of shaky there. Where was he at last year? He was was he the DC at Penn State?
He might have been.
I think he was, but I think he's a good guy for the Louisville job. I really do think so. Yeah, I think he was the DC at Penn State.
Yeah, he was.
Penn State. There's a lot of good college football games this weekend. Actually, no, there's not very many good games.
No,
but
there's not
like
a lot.
3 to circle.
You never know, though. I mean, this season's been so unpredictable that these
some
non-good
upsets
weeks have really shown us. A game that really interests me is this BYU Kansas game.
Really?
I was at home, didn't get the chance to go to Blacksburg this weekend, so I got the chance to watch Jalen Daniels and this Kansas team go to work against a very good team that nobody really expected them to come out and blow out. And you know what I mean? This was the Iowa State team that 2 weeks ago was, running away with the Big 12. People thought that, a game against BYU was sealing their fate to the playoffs for the first time in a while. Yeah. And I think that BYU really has to face the music first after facing a very controversial win against that Utah game last year.
Maybe probably should have lost that game.
I mean, that Utah athletic director sure thought so.
Yeah. If I'm not happy to be here. And I'll call the commissioner. And he's fine now. So
yeah, so I mean, you just got to make the show for it. It's the holy war. That's a huge rivalry and everything like that. So tempers were going to flare regardless. If that wouldn't have been called, BYU would have been posting it on Twitter after the game, saying, "Look at this on the last play of the game that didn't get called." So it's kind of you reap what you sow. We'll find out how good of a team they are versus a Kansas team that's been shaky on the year, a little bit worse than I thought they'd be coming into the season. But then they had a really good win against Iowa State. Maybe they found a new true identity. Daniels, the quarterback, I think finally realized that he doesn't have to be that guy with his arm. You know what I mean? As long as he's making it happen with his legs. And you know what I mean? Like one thing is that opens up is like the ability to let you mix it up. You know what I mean? Keep the defense on their toes and everything like that. And I expect this to be BYU's last real test before they get to the conference championship.
And I think this could be a shaky game. I think this could be a trap game for BYU. Obviously, we saw Utah give them a run for their money. But Utah didn't score after the first half.
Right.
Kansas 3-6 coming this game. They have to win out to get a bowl. But I do think this Jalen Daniels kid, we've seen him play good ball before. And looking at this game, could this be a game that Kansas goes in here and shakes up this good undefeated BYU team? And I totally think they can. Let's talk about this Boise State and San Jose State game.
Yeah,
Ashton Genty just keeps on.
Dude, I mean, he is the real deal. I mean, he's eclipsed, Jordan amount of touchdowns in 23 now. He's about to be at 2,000 yards. He's only about 280 yards away. And it's, it's not insane to say that he doesn't get that this week against San Jose State.
Right.
I think this game is interesting because, you know what I mean? Just looking at him, you would think that Boise State's going to blow him over like they have most teams, you know what I mean? Despite the game that they had earlier this year against Oregon and everything like that. But I think this San Jose State team, man, I think they're a little bit more than people give them credit for. You know what I mean?
Right.
I watched them really have control of an Oregon State team that, isn't very good by any means.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, is a competent football team. And their losses this year are to a good Fresno State team, Colorado State team who hasn't lost a spread game or a true underdog game or anything like that all season long. And then earlier in the season lost a double overtime game to Washington State, who is a top 25 ranked team in the country.
Yeah.
So Boise State is on cruise control a little. And after the committee came out and ranked them 12th in the country, I think it's kind of a message to Boise State, like, strap up a little. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you got teams like Army and Tulane that are playing for a conference championship.
Yeah,
and, they're
this
breathing
Boise
down your
State
neck.
team is not guaranteed for this playoff
They
spot.
are not, and I think that the committee really wanted to show them that, like, you know what I mean? You guys really need to be playing your best ball.
What they're saying is, hey, we're not letting you in the playoffs just because Ashton Jency's out here running for 1,700 yards this year. It's not a one-man show. You got to play good as a whole. But I do think Boise State wins that game. I think they're going to rely on the run game with Ashton Jency.
Right.
But, yeah, give me Boise State. San Jose State suffers their 4th loss of the season. But I kind of like how you made that point about Army, Tulane, and teams like that fighting for this playoff spot, because at the beginning of the year, you would have said, okay, Boise State is guaranteed.
Yeah. Didn't think it was really going to be much of a competition. And I think, interesting enough, I think that I'm going to do a game predictions kind of going to open the door for those Army, Tulane. I'm going to pick the Spartans here. I think that they're going to outright upset Boise State. I think that, Boise State's got to travel to San Jose State, who has played very, very well at home this season. I think the defense can kind of keep up. The offense, if Boise State scores fast, San Jose State, I'm confident can slow the game down and really kind of, mark their territory and everything. I think it'll be a higher scoring game. I'm going to go 38-34 San Jose State.
I like it. I really do. If we can get an upset like that, that kind of, puts the end of the waters to this Boise State team, and, the Ashton Jency talk goes away. Not self-accoladed, because obviously he's going to get drafted this year now.
Right.
He's already lighted that up, but it's not a one-man show.
Exactly.
And, this could be the end for this Boise State team this week. Guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. Like we said, Clemson travels to Pitt this weekend. Hopefully we secure that 8th win of the season and keep, fighting and trying to make our way back into the conversation. Hope for a lot of upsets and miracles around us to kind of put us there. I'm Cole Gerard, not surrounded.
You're all good, man. I'm Cannon Jarrett. I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, for sure. We'll be back next week. This is the Best Damn Clemson Show with Cole and Cannon.